Okay, I think I'm live now. Finally, finally. I've been trying. I don't know if I was live last time or not. So I may be repeating myself for some people. So I do apologize because I don't really know what was going on my end, but nothing was showing up. So I wanted to hop on and I wanted to update you all on some things that are happening. Okay. So the tiredness continues. Well, the astrologer lost her marbles because I didn't remember and then I remembered because something popped up. I haven't really been on Facebook. I spent most of yesterday sleeping. So we have a lot of, I talked about spiritual narcolepsy the other day, but I also, there's something that contributes to that. Um, there are quite a few things that contribute to that, but it's mostly energy related. And we've been having a lot of void moons, people. We had a void moon on December 31st. We had a void moon on January 2nd. We had a void moon um, on the 3rd into the 4th. That was quite a long void moon. We had a void moon on the 6th, which was yesterday, which I literally either slept or was sleepwalking through the day when I was awake. We have a void moon on the 8th, which is tomorrow. At 6:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So adjust for your time zone. These times are all Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the UK, you want to add 5 hours. If you're on the Pacific um, coast of the US, you want to take away 3 hours. Okay. Um, we have another one coming up on Saturday, on the 10th, which is also the fourth quarter moon. And then, let's see. We have another one on Tuesday the 13th. We have another one on Friday the 16th at 6:19 a.m. The one on the 13th is at 5:59 p.m., so 6 o'clock-ish. And then the 16th is 6:19 a.m. So expect to wake up tired, even if you've had a good full night's sleep. And then we have the new moon on the 18th, and after the new moon, which is at 2:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, um, like 3 hours later, the moon goes void. Now, new moon is a dark moon anyway, but you're going to feel that energy. That day is loaded with aspects. That new moon. There's also an opportunity because the moon's going to be Kazemi the sun. Okay, so basically, it will be sitting in the heart of the sun, and that will super energized. So there'll be a window of opportunity, and half an hour, like 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after the new moon. Um, so if you have something important that you want to start, like something you want to launch or something that you have been putting off that you want to do, but you haven't done it because it hasn't felt like the right time, your intuition would be absolutely correct. And it's a really good time to start it. So, say like from 2:22 to 2:52, and then from 2:53, 30 minutes after that. What is that? Um, yeah, 2:22 in the afternoon. That's interesting. All those twos. 2:22 is two's divine feminine. It's goddess energy. So I expect a lot of women to be stepping up in some way. Um, So I wanted to share that information with you, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to give them all to you for the month, so you're prepared for the energy. Um, the next one will be on Tuesday, January 20th at 9:16 p.m. So it'll be close to bedtime, and we're tired that time anyway. But there is an aspect that day that's at the same, right around the same time, where the moon is going to be in Aquarius square Pluto in Taurus. So a square is tension. So because it's Uranus in Taurus, it could have something to do with money. But the moon is in Aquarius, so it's highlighting Aquarius and Taurus traits. So there, I just want to say, I just keep having this feeling, and I'm seeing different things in the astrology, but I'm not like a financial astrology, so this is not financial advice. This is what I'm feeling. Um, be really, really mindful of money and of the way, not only the way you spend it, but the way you're investing it. And if you feel intuitively um, that you need to move your money, I would move it. Okay. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a financial astrologer. Any decision you make, I need to give my disclaimer with that. Any financial decision that you make is on you. Use discernment. Okay. So let's continue with the void moons. Um, January 23rd at 8:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturday the 24th at 4:36 p.m. All right, and I know we have a couple more. Tuesday the 27th at 12:58 p.m. So around 1 o'clock in the afternoonish, 6 p.m. UK time. 2:57 p.m. on the 29th, and I think I know we have another one. Where is it? Okay, and then Friday the 30th from 11:14 p.m. is when you're going to start really feeling the energy hit, and it's going to last until, well, it's actually, I want to say it perfects at 4:52 p.m. So that'll be like almost 10 o'clock at night for those of you in the UK. So there's a lot of void moons, and for those of you who I'm speaking gibberish, a void moon is when we're supposed to relax. It's when we're supposed to take time for ourselves. It's when we're supposed to rest up. And I don't ever, since I've been doing astrology, maybe I wasn't paying attention as closely in the beginning, but I'm a moon lover, so I follow the moon. I think the moon is as important, if not more important, on a daily basis than the sun. Excuse me here because it's been a little bit of a rough night and morning. So, um, so when we think about the moon and it being void, it's our emotions. So you may feel extremely tired. You may feel numb. Um, because when we're in a void, we're kind of like in between. And I'm like I was talking about the other day, I was talking about the spiritual narcolepsy. That's where we are. It's like being between two worlds. We can't go back because the past no longer exists, and we're not really sure where we're going. So we're kind of like in the in between, one foot in both realms. And when I say both realms, I mean in the present and in the future, because we're not who we were, but we are also not who we're becoming yet. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you? I hope you're okay. I know this. I saw your post and I saw that Tanya sent you Reiki. So if there's anything you need, sweetie, just private message me. And I love you. I just, I hope you're okay. I know it's been a little difficult for Leos, but I do promise you it's going to get better. August will be really great for you guys. But so while we're in all this energy of the void moon, we're supposed to be resting. Think of it like an eclipse, okay? Or think of it like if you just follow the rhythm of nature, right? Nature's cycles and nature's patterns. In the wintertime, we sleep more, we rest more, we eat differently. In the spring and summer, we're more active. It's warmer, and ah, mwah, I love you, sweetie. Um, So some things are out of sync. We also have a blue moon this year, but I can't remember which month it is. And that's when we have three moons in one month, but it basically falls at the very end of the month. So it's kind of, yeah, it's not like there's three moons here and one moon here. It's just the way the weeks fall. But I'm really having trouble focusing. So we're in this energy of what I call spiritual narcolepsy, like I was saying. We, the past is gone. Um, we have the present and we have the future, and we have this area that lays in between. So we're not who we were, but we're not yet who we're becoming fully. We're not fully stepped into our power. So we're in the becoming stage, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say uncomfortable. It's just it's kind of strange, like a strange feeling. Um, so you may be feeling a lot, or you may be feeling nothing. You know, you or and all of this sleep. If you're extremely tired, like I have been, I think I know it's really hitting water signs. Um, and I know some fire signs that have been hit pretty hard too. Um, yeah, and a friend of mine that's a Capricorn, she's like, "What the hell's going on?" Even my kids, even your pets. You may find your pets are behaving differently because they are more sensitive to the energy. They feel it before we do. That's why I always say, watch nature, watch the animals, watch the birds. If the birds aren't singing, there's a reason why. So start tuning in, start looking around, start paying attention. And I know it's hard to focus in this energy, people. It is. It's difficult. Um, and it's not that it's a hard energy, but it could be, well, with Jupiter too. Like, um, I haven't even looked at today's chart. With Jupiter, it can be somewhat like I was really emotional for a couple of days. Like I literally was just, I thought, okay, well, I need to do something because I couldn't shut my brain down because of the way Uranus is hitting my chart. And so for me, like I couldn't even like I couldn't even focus long enough that I could meditate. Like I could not, I just couldn't. And so when that happens to me, I go to music. So I was on YouTube and I was going, I just clicked on I have a playlist saved. I went through it and it was like literally like 1 minute I was like really up and jamming. And then the next minute I was totally exhausted and crying. And so see, if you haven't separated your playlists into categories, like I keep saying I'm going to do, but I haven't done because, well, I don't know how many years of music is on there, but a lot. Um, Start doing it. Yeah, I finally, got myself back on Spotify, so I'm going to do it in Spotify. Um, but yeah, music, I want to say. When you're in the space where you don't know what to do and you can't focus or meditate, turn to music. So let's see where everything is today. So I got the chart. So obviously the moon is in Virgo, and it overnight it crossed over the south node. So that's a past. So we're releasing, and we have been releasing. And I know I thought that last year, you know, how many years have we been releasing now? Like I can't even remember. Like that's another thing. If your memory is shit, there's nothing wrong with you. It's normal. If your appetite has changed, I have no appetite. Like I have literally um, slept more than in the last, I don't know, I would say month. I think it started before Christmas before me for me. Um, than I have in a long time. But it's like not at one time. It's like my sleep is broken. Or like I'm up till 3 o'clock and then I crash. I get up at 6 and I walk my dogs. And then I may stay up for an hour or two and get some things done around the house. Or if I'm just too exhausted, I crash on the sofa and I'm sleeping for like another 3 or 4 hours. It's very crazy the energy is really up and down and all around. So I just want to say, whatever you're feeling, there's no right and there's no wrong. And don't feel guilty if you're sleeping more than usual because that's that's when we're integrating, okay? Because the divine feminine's going to rise this year. So I feel like this is my personal feeling. I feel like the divine feminine is, well, the masculine's being affected as well. We're all very tired, but it does hit women first and it does hit women harder because usually we're more sensitive and we're more in tune with our bodies because of our menstrual cycles. Okay, because we attune, our bodies attune with the moon. That's why it's so important. So, again, don't remember what I was saying, so let's go through the chart. But anyway, the moon crossed over the north node, so letting go. That's what I was talking about. So we're going to be continuing to release this year. Um, and it's a very active year astrologically because we have, again, astrology that's unprecedented. Um, so astrologers are doing the best they can with the wisdom and knowledge that they have to try to translate the astrology into everyday language for the um, people who are not astrologers. Okay, so no guilt, no shame, no blame around the rest. You're sleeping because you need it. You're sleeping because you're integrating, and we're embody. It's about embodiment. This divine feminine energy. I feel it strong, rising, and Lilith is active this year. Um, I can't remember what month off the top of my head, but she's in Sagittarius. Um, so just think about rest. Just think of it as preparing for war. I don't know what other word to use, and it's like it's a path to finding to balancing the light and the dark between the masculine and the feminine. But this also has a lot to do with the political landscape, just our social landscape as a world, and things that are going on. So we have Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Mars. Let me make sure I'm on the right day. In Capricorn still. I need to check the date. I'm so sorry, people, because I just feel a little bit like not myself. And that's how you might feel. You may feel like you're not in your body. Um, understand that you may feel like you're not in your body. So, all right, let's go. I just want to double. Let me check the date. Continue with transits. All of a sudden I went blank and I'm not. Okay, yeah, here we go. January 7th. Okay, so I'm on the right calendar. um, we have Pluto 2 degrees 55 minutes. So it has moved 20 minutes since the last time I checked it. And in Aquarius. So just remember your personal power, but also remember that you know, it rules the eighth house. So death, rebirth, and transformation. And we are going through this transformation. And being between two worlds. It's like, the death of the old self and the birthing of the new self. And if we think of ourselves as being in the birth canal, um, you have no idea. I cannot wait for that Neptune and that Saturn to move. I am so tired of it sitting on my sun. it's almost. I mean, I almost have that Kazemi, Neptune Kazemi, but that'll on the February 20th is a really important date. Mark that date down because that's when those two planets meet up at 0 degrees Aries, and that's a reset, and that's something that we've never seen before. I don't think there are any astrological records on that. If I'm not mistaken, that is the aspect that we've kind of all been waiting for, with bated breath and excitement, all, and a little bit of maybe underlying discomfort at the same time. The most important thing is that we stay out of fear. That's what I want to say to everyone. And I'm also going to share. I did write up a PDF on spiritual narcolepsy. I spent quite a bit of time on it. When you sleep all day and you can't sleep at night, it's like our bodies are being reset as well. So I'm going to read some of it to you. And then if you want the PDF, you can go over to the bloominglotuslife.com. It's quite a bit of information. I think it's like about 100. Yeah, it's 120 pages. Um, it's $5, so you can purchase it for $5. But I'm going to give you the most important things, and if you want to dig deeper into it, it's up to you. And remember what I said what I've been saying, I guess, for a month or more, is to take care of your nervous system. All right, so spiritual narcolepsy is not a medical diagnosis. It's a descriptive term that many astrologers, somatic practitioners, and spiritual teachers use to explain a very real embodied experience that people are having right now, especially as we move through the 2026 astrological new year. So the content, this is on my website, so I'm going to just read you my website disclaimer. The content shared on this website is offered for educational, informational, and inspirational purposes only. The perspectives on astrology, nervous system regulation, embodiment, spirituality, collective cycles, emotional well being, animals, and personal growth are intended to support self reflection and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical, psychological, psychiatric, or veterinary condition. So, nothing on this site or in this video should be considered a substitute for medical, professional medical advice, mental health care, psychological or psychiatric treatment, licensed therapeutic support, or veterinary diagnosis or care. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional, mental health professional, or veterinarian regarding any medical, emotional, psychological, or human or animal health concerns. So, astrology and spiritual frameworks are offered as an interpretive tools, not as absolute or predictive certainties. So, any discussion of fatigue, disassociation, emotional states, nervous system responses, grief, identity shifts, or embodiment is meant to be contextual and compassionate, not clinical. If you or someone else is experiencing distress, impairment, or symptoms that interfere with daily life, please seek um, professional help immediately. By engaging with this content, you acknowledge your responsibility for your own well being and choices. This work is offered in the spirit of empowerment, self trust, and informed care, not a replacement for professional support. Okay, now that that's over with, and I totally bored myself, unfortunately, sorry people, I have to do that. It's sad that that's what the world is, but that's what the world is. So, what is spiritual narcolepsy? Spiritual narcolepsy describes a sudden, overwhelming fatigue or shut down response that appears without obvious physical cause and does not improve with willpower. In other words, no matter how hard you try to push through, you're still experiencing the same symptoms. Extreme sleepiness during the day, needing more rest than usual, brain fog or zoning out, loss of motivation, but you're not depressed, a feeling of being numb, or like think of it as like your computer being offline, feeling waves of exhaustion after emotional insight or spiritual growth. I did a reading for someone the other day. I was so fatigued. It was like I ran a marathon. Okay. Now, for me personally, and I don't know if this is just the water signs, there's also that feeling of not being fully in your body, which is why I feel like we're between two worlds. We're in the void. We're in that. I don't even. You know, I'm gonna pull out this deck. In this deck, there's like sometimes because of my Mercury placement, it's hard for me to find the words. Okay, but I know there's cards in this deck, and I know exactly which cards I want. I want Between Worlds, and I want Between Worlds, probably on the bottom of the damn deck, like the way things have been going. And To the Sea, that's what I want. And I want this card. I've never done a reading like this, but this is what I'm going to do. All right. This is where we are, people. We're between worlds. Okay. And we're resting. We're resting because it's time. There's a time to move forward and there's a time to rest. Okay. So while we're in this resting period of being between two worlds, the feeling I get, and again, this is my personal experience. I can't tell you what to feel or how you feel. But if I would love if you all would share what you're feeling to give me some more information so I can do some more research. But I'm going to say 7 to the sea because she's sitting in the boat and there's the right card up. Um, yeah, my phone hasn't caught up. Okay. So to the sea, she's sitting in the boat. She's looking down. It's like the water's calm, and she just has unbelievable faith and trust in wherever the waters are carrying her. So we're more in flow than we know we are. And you may feel like stuck or stagnant. I don't feel stuck or stagnant. I just feel at times discombobulated and at other times an overwhelming peace and very emotional. Like I'm getting emotional now. Very, very emotional. And I'm not really sure why. I think I'm overwhelmed by the unbelievable amount of peace that I'm feeling deep within my soul, within my being, within my heart, when there's so much chaos and conflict going on in the world, and some really, you know, horrific things are happening. But I'm standing in my truth, no matter what anybody else says or thinks. And this isn't about strength and resilience this year. It's about rest and going within and thinking and processing and integration and um, taking a time to think before we move forward. And we are moving forward, but it's like baby steps. And you may be feeling drawn to your circle or your tribe. And if you don't have one, and this isn't about me pushing my group, I do have um, the blooming, I can't even remember what my own group is called. Um, I think I shared it in a post the other day. Um, so, and in that group, that's what this is all about. It's about coming together and blooming together. And because we know who we were, and there's also like a little bit of grief over the old self, and later in the year, we're going to have to make a choice. We're going to come to a choice point. And I know I talked about this on my last video. There's no right or wrong because the universe will redirect you. But it is going to take us um, to a place of serendipity. And I always associate this card with Jupiter because it's a four-leaf clover and they both represent luck. But for now, we're in the here and now. But the next card is the never ending story, and it came out in reverse. So this will end soon, and the masculine is going to step up. And we're blessed, and we there's a deep knowing, even though we might not have the details. We don't need the details. We don't need to know the details. We just need to trust um, and imagine the possibilities. And this regeneration is like a rebirth, right? So remember, there's plenty of time. We don't need to rush. And remember to breathe. And that divine feminine energy, it's coming in. Also, what we're doing right now, too, and this card just reminded it, was we're building our foundations. Um, because a lot of it is coming in while we're sleeping. And when we sleep is when we heal. And that's when we get a lot of our aha moments and a lot of growth. And remember, if something isn't working out, not for you came out. And it doesn't mean forever. It's just not the time now because now is the time we're supposed to be resting. And here's that divine feminine I was talking about. And here's that peace. Okay. Now, the first few cards, the first five cards, I purposely pulled out of the deck because to describe what I was feeling. But these other cards are what came out in order. And the next card is round and round, so we're spiraling up. We may feel like we're stuck in this pattern, but we're not stuck. We're actually upgrading. And By the Book came out in reverse. And By the Book is about following rules when it's upright. So this is saying that the old rules no longer apply. And we're getting ready to step into Aquarius season. So think about Aquarius. It thinks outside of the box. It does things in its own very new and different, unique way. It's about technology and forward movement. It's Uranus ruled, so it's quick. And we're going to have these aspects coming up with Pluto and Uranus. Pluto is slow. Uranus is fast. Slow, fast, slow, fast. So you'll feel time has slowed down, or time has accelerated, or you have no concept of time, which is very Piscean. Um, I suffer from that on a regular basis. It doesn't even need to be a spiritual narcolepsy. That's just a normal Pisces thing. So these are some of the things. What's really important around all of this is that you not have shame because you're not being lazy. You're not a failure. Um, and this is not a weakness. This is, you may feel very open and vulnerable, but this is a positive vulnerability. Um, and it's also a nervous system response to the accelerated change. If you've been losing days like I have, um, if it wasn't for a computer or a cell phone, I literally like wouldn't know what day it is. So let's try to dissect why is this happening now. So I'm gonna do it the best. I tried to make it as simple as I could. Like I said the other day, not because you're stupid, but because not everybody's an astrologer. All right. And that's my prayer one day, that you all get to learn this beautiful language. And it's one of my things that I look forward to before I die, to see this in schools. And I'm actually in the process of creating an astrology program for children. And I really can't wait to launch it. And I was hoping to have it done, but I don't, because I just don't have the energy right now. But here's what's going on. We have all of the outer planets transitioning from one side to another, and they're transitioning from water and earth to fire and air. So Neptune is shifting into Pisces. All right. Or Neptune is shifting signs from Pisces to Aries. Neptune dissolves, and Pisces is about spirituality. So it's about dissolving old spiritual identities. Saturn is shifting signs from Pisces into Aries. Saturn is about structure and foundation. It's father energy. It's masculine. It's responsibility. It's leadership. So Saturn shifting signs from Pisces into Aries. Um, and Aries is the leader, right? It likes to lead. It likes to. It's fire. It's forward movement. I, you know, I always say it could be anger, war, or ignition, right? Take off. So this is like about restructuring how we act, the way we lead, and it's an initiation point. Okay, it's like this is your rocket fuel moment. Then we have Uranus changing signs. This will be in April. The Neptune and Saturn shift will happen on that February 20th at 0 degrees. They will shift. I think I want to say Neptune hits Aries first and then Saturn. I really can't remember right now. I'd have to look at my notes. Um, that's February. Then in April, we have the Uranus moving into Gemini. So when we think about the mind, Gemini rules our everyday thoughts and speech, patterns of um, the way we communicate. Um, right now, it's in Taurus, which is why I said be mindful around. I feel something around money. I've been feeling it. I don't know exactly what it is. I wish I could put my finger on it, but I can't, because Taurus is about so many different things. It's Earth, but it's also the money we work for. It's agriculture. It's Earth events like volcanoes, um, earthquakes, um, the plates shifting, you know, tsunamis, flooding, especially since, you know, we still have Neptune and Pisces. So a lot of Earth events. So Uranus changing signs. It's your brain's gonna feel like you're on speed. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I've never done speed. I've never done drugs, but I have taken steroids for like asthma and stuff like that, or when I had pneumonia. So, and I know like what happens to me is my brain, like I can't shut down to the point that I become mentally exhausted. So it's it's speeding up our minds. So we may be mentally just like, boom, like that's how I've been, and then just physically effing exhausted. Okay, and we'll also be experiencing a lot of aha moments and a lot of technology, movement around technology. Okay, and then we have the nodes shifting in July. May is, I think, the quietest month of the year. And then we have, although there is something happening in May. What is it? I can't remember. But then we have the nodes shifting in July. So you know, we're moving from, again, um, earth and water to fire and air. So the North Node will be in Aquarius, which is air. And, think of new and innovative ways of doing things, no matter what it is. And the North Node in Leo is about shining your light. So, how are you going to shine your light in a new and different way? And, you know, like I said the other day, park the ego in the garage, because if the ego is in front of it and it's not coming from a pure heart centered space, um, that could kind of not feel good. And then we have Black Moon Lilith, who is going to be fully activating our embodied truth. So, what we're part of what we're going through now, part of that embodiment process. Um, Lilith's just going to be on fire this year. I don't know how else to put it, but this is about women coming together in community. And, I don't know, I don't watch a lot of news, so I don't know a lot of what details as to, I have a good idea of what's going on in the world, but not detailed ideas. But I think women in the United States, they're going to be scratching out eyes to protect their rights. And I've been telling them for the last year, you better learn to start stepping up. Um, but I just think our whole country is, there's going to be massive change in the United States. And I would like to sit here and like apologize to the world for some of the things that have been going on that my country has initiated. But I'm one person, and yeah, and every country's going through its own thing. That and I don't mean this in ego, but I know a lot of countries um, follow the United States, and what's happening here is causing difficulties in other countries. And I apologize for the arrogance of our country. Yeah, it makes me feel sad that I even have to do that. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. But I also know that it's not going to last. And I want y'all to hang on. Okay. So fire and air are going to dominate after years, I don't know, what, 10, 12 years of earth and water. So that's quite a huge change. So this combination accelerates consciousness faster than the body is able to process, no matter how evolved you think the body is, or your mind is. The psyche may be ready and the soul may be willing, but the nervous system needs time. So the nervous system's automatic protective responses, when we don't know how to protect ourselves, our bodies step in and they automatically do it for us. So when the system receives too much stimulation, change, or emotional processing, it has three basic options: fight, which is anxiety, irritability, and panic; flight, which is overworking, distraction, or restlessness. And my Capricorns know what that's like. Or freeze, or basically shut down from fatigue, sleepiness. You may be withdrawing from the world. And feelings of fear may creep in. Now, I personally am not feeling fear in a time when I probably should be, because everything's so out of control. But it's almost like it's not within I don't want to say it's not within my vision, but I don't see it moving forward. I don't see it in 2027. I don't feel it at the end of 2026. There's going to be like some kind of a major shift and change worldwide in our social climate. So for those of you who have kind of lost faith, I want to say, please don't. Please don't. I know it's hard, and your body's tired, and it's telling you that it needs this stillness to integrate what's happening. Um, and that's on every level: mental, physical, spiritual, physiological, um, socially, collectively, individually. So rest is increasing instead of decreasing. During spiritual or identity shifts, the brain rewires belief systems. So you'll be changing your mind about some things, and that's okay. It's perfectly okay. There's no blame, there's no shame because we all have different versions of ourselves as we grow and expand. I totally don't believe things that I believed 20 or 30 years ago. I can tell you right now. I mean, I remember sitting in church with Jesus with the white, beard. Um, you know, Now I just see him in a different way, in a different light. That Christ light, beautiful energy that brings me peace and deep in to the core of my being, like I've never felt before. Um, there's so much if you can allow yourself the space and bless yourself with the time that the universe is giving us for this integration, you will find unbelievable peace. You might not know your why yet. You might not know who it is you're supposed to be. But the only thing you're supposed to be right now is living one day at a time, exactly who you are. And I'm not saying don't dream or dream big. I'm saying that you don't, now is not the time to worry about hitting the goal. Now is the time to take in the rest and let the universe handle everything else. Call on the angels. Ask for what you need, the assistance that you need. So, we're integrating a lot of emotional information and material. And this is recalibrating or helps recalibrate our levels of stress that we can handle. So we may be able to handle more stress one day than another day. So when we think about this metabolically, it's um, it's taxing on the nervous system. Okay, it's expensive and it's expansive because the expense is the physical exhaustion, and the expansion is the expansion of the mind, body, and spirit. So it's just like any other time when you're sick, if you have a cold or any other kind of healing, we all know that we heal the most when we're sleeping. So this spiritual narcolepsy is, in a sense, it's a healing. And there was an aspect with Chiron the other day. I can't remember what it was. I think it was yesterday. I can't remember. I mean, my memory is shit. And like I said, you don't have dementia. This is just normal with the energy. So the old way of pushing through the exhaustion, it just doesn't work. We don't have any energy left to push. So the body will override the mind if you ignore it. Because your body's telling you everything you need to know. It's telling you when you need to sleep, and it's telling you when to work. So if you're trying to push through and you're finding it difficult, what you may find is you're making a lot of mistakes. And when I say mistakes, I mean like the other night I was writing this up, and then when I looked at it the next day, I'm like, who wrote this? Like a 5-year-old? Like my words were backwards, they were out of order. I had to go back in and like restructure the whole thing, and and but it was more like of an outline, but it wasn't in order because it was just the way it was coming through. I was just writing down words as they were coming through. So the body will always override the mind. It will shut down so that we don't hurt ourselves. And sleep becomes integration and healing, not avoidance. So that, the role of Neptune and Saturn in this energy of extreme fatigue is dissolving the old identities, the old beliefs, the old dreams and programmings that no longer exist. And it does create this feeling of being in between, okay, not being here and not being there, and possibly not even feeling like you're fully in your body, and some fogginess. It also, as you can tell, because I'm not a blubber baby, I also have allergies going on, but it also will increase your sensitivity, and you may find yourself picking up on the collective, um, the emotional status of the collective as well. Because I am like if I walk into, I actually had a party between Christmas, excuse me, between Christmas and New Year's. And I was there for 2 hours. I couldn't be there any longer because I could feel so much like it was taking all of my energy to keep that bubble around me. I could feel people's stress. I could feel their anxiety. I could feel their pain if someone was in pain. And I was just exhausted. I had to leave. I mean, I love the people. I had a great time, but I found myself extra sensitive. You may also find either you're eating more or you're eating less. Like I've actually lost about 4 or 5 pounds. And without purposely trying to do it, and when I worked my ass off all summer trying to lose that 4 or 5 pounds, I couldn't lose it. And now all of a sudden, like I have no appetite. So, and then we have Saturn, and Saturn is, it rebuilds, right? Because Pluto deconstructs and Neptune dissolves, so Saturn rebuilds. So it's asking for new structure or structures. Um, it's it's also about sovereignty, so responsibility. So it's asking for new structures for us to take accountability for our own behavior and be responsible for ourselves. And the um, I don't even know how to put this into words, but it's kind of like the integration or embodiment of that energy of knowing um, that we need to step up and take responsibility for our actions. So Capricorn helps ground. Saturn rules Capricorn. So it's like grounded action, um, especially once this moves into Aries, it's like grounded action after disillusion. Okay. So together, all of those energies create, this is how I'm going to say it. I'm not who I was, but I'm not who I'm becoming yet. And like I said earlier, you might not know who you're becoming, and that's okay. But this in between space is effing exhausting, people. We have one foot in the higher realms and one foot in the lower. And we are in that in between. We are in that in between space. I think I put that card back in the deck. But we are between worlds. And it's um it's not always comfortable being in that space. And it doesn't matter what you know or what you you think you know. It's just I can't even find the card now. But a lot of that divine feminine energy is really, really strong. And that regenerative energy. And, and, and there's a knowing. Like when you feel those nudges, trust them because as the divine feminine returns to the body, exhaustion comes to the surface not because something is wrong, but because she's finally being heard. So it's like her body's, I want to say, she's stepping into her power and reclaiming her authority, her spot in the world. She's being seen again. She's being heard again. And here we go. Here's the card. So This is where we are. And this is what we're doing while we're there. We're healing, we're mending. So just pay attention. There's no right or wrong right now. So what spiritual narcolepsy is inviting us to do is not withdraw from life, but it's changing pace. We're being asked to slow down. Um, don't take on as many obligations. If there's anything that you can, I don't want to say neglect things, but if there's anything that can be, you know, pushed to a future date, um, rest more, um, schedule it if you have to, and keep your schedule simple. Be kinder and gentle to yourself in the morning. Sit down and have your cup of chamomile tea. Give yourself permission to take a breath and to pause without any explanation. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. This is not like, it's not regression. We're not going backwards. We're learning how do I say this? Um, we're learning how to re inhabit the space within our bodies where we have released all of the old, the things that we've needed to release, whether it be a person, a place, a thing. Um, I know a lot of people have moved, a lot of people have changed their jobs. They just no longer resonate. All that's going on, perfectly normal. But say you left your job and you haven't found a new one yet, and maybe you want to, maybe you're in the process of starting up a new business. So it's again, it's that in between space of that in between space. Okay, so there's this little empty space that's just waiting for you to fill it with all the things that bring you joy, and help you become who it is you're becoming, whether you know who that is or not. And you don't need to know because it's just going to fall into place automatically. So the most important thing is, how do we support ourselves? How do we support our bodies at this time? Um, Number one, stop um, blaming yourself for being so tired and feeling like the fatigue that your body is experiencing is a problem. When that comes up, don't beat yourself up. It's we go to the who, what, where, when, and whys, right? So I was talking about integration now. So what is your body integrating right now? You may or may not have the answer. You may fall asleep before you get the answer. I fell asleep praying the other night. Okay? Right in the middle of my prayers, I fell asleep. Um, and understand that I understand that a lot of you are working 9 to 5 jobs. Okay. Um, Even if you go out in your car and get, you know, 10 or 20 minutes where you can just sit in stillness, that helps and breathe. That will help the nervous system reset. Um, Try to limit, screen time, TV, internet, whatever. Stop explaining yourself. You don't need to. It's not required. And to ground the body, warm foods, especially because we're in the middle of winter months. If you're down under, you know, I'm sure you still have your coffee or tea in the morning. Um, Stay hydrated because I noticed I've been extremely, extremely thirsty. And I want to say gentle movement, not sudden jerky movement. Like um, if I would say more like exercising or stretching rather than full blown on like out. You're gonna pump like iron and stuff. I mean, if you have the energy to do that, God bless you. But I think about 80% of us don't. And honor your sleep as something sacred, okay? Because sleep is where we do our deepest work. Um, think of Persephone. Think of the darkness. Think of Scorpio, the the deep philosophical part. And Persephone comes, she comes every spring. She's allowed to come back out and play. So what happens in the spring? The regeneration is happening while she's in the underworld. And when spring comes, everything comes into bloom and blossoms. The trees bud, the flowers bud, the snow stops, the weather changes, it gets warmer. So think about all of those things. Um, we don't really think, I always say find the magic in every day. And I fully admit some days that's really difficult for everyone. I'm not a guru. We're all human. No one's perfect. I don't care who they are. I don't, you know. And I love and respect a lot of people, but they all have their moments. They might not share them, but they have them. And I think there's strength in vulnerability and sharing the fact that we're all human and we all have these feelings. So you're not checking out, you're just resting up, and you will land back inside of yourself because we're learning to live from the inside out instead of the outside in. And that's what all this sleeping is about. So honor your body, honor the time for rest. Make it part of your sacred ritual or routine. Um, if you honor this energy now and you allow yourself the rest and the time for integration and the healing that's occurring, you will regain your clarity. You will be able to come back and move forward and lead with, I want to say, this newfound presence. And there'll be a precision to it. Um, and if you don't rest, people, you're going to burn out. You're really going to burn out. You could actually really do some harm to your body. So I think what most people need to hear is that you're not falling behind. You're slowing down because your system is recalibrating for a new way of living because we are in the new energy of the new earth. Rest is not a detour, it's a path. And those who listen to their bodies now will be the ones who truly, fully bloom later. Okay. The reason why you don't feel fully in your body, now this is the best explanation um, that I can that I can think of because this is what I'm personally experiencing. You may or may not be experiencing it, but I want you to know if you are, it's from what I'm beginning to understand pretty normal because I've been talking to a lot of people who are feeling the same thing because I actually was getting ready to have my doctor check me for dementia. um, you may feel like you're floating, you're not fully in your body, you're disconnected, you're unplugged from the rest of the world, um, very foggy, emotional, um, detached in some weird kind of odd way that I can't really describe. Um, you may feel like you're watching life but not living life. I hope that makes sense. Like it's a movie. What's that song? I can't think of it. I wish Tracy was here. Something. There's a line in this song. It's like it's just like a movie. I'm not a singer and I'm all snotted up. But if anybody knows the name of that song, good morning, David. How are you? And you may feel when you do feel present, you're not anchored. So this is not disassociation like in a pathological sense for most people. It's um it's kind of like an incomplete embodiment during a nervous system and an identity transition. And I know that's a mouthful. Okay. So It's because we're in the middle. We're in between. We have one foot in both realms, and we're just in this in between space. You could call it limbo. You can call it numbness. You can call it rest. You can call it whatever name, whatever word you want to put to it. But the fact is that the fact is, Jack, that there's something going on, and we need to listen to our bodies because they're highly intelligent and they were built to protect us. Okay, so old identities are dissolving. Neptune. Old survival structures are breaking down. Saturn. New ways of being are not fully formed yet. Zero at Aries at 0 degrees territory, which is coming up on the 20th of December, February. Okay, the nodes are shifting, so the whole karmic storyline is shifting. Fire and air is um, moves moves faster than the body can anchor. That energy is moving faster than we can anchor. We're used to water and earth, and water has flow, but earth anchors us. All right. So for those of you who have a lot of earth in your chart, bless you because you're probably more anchored than those of us who have a lot of air and water in our charts, or air and fire as well. So this is what's creating the in-between state. It's like I don't fully resonate with who I was. I don't know who I'm becoming. The psyche moves first, the body moves later. The nervous system pulls awareness, up, and we're overstimulated. So when the nervous system's overloaded, we feel like there's too much change too quickly, too much information coming in. It's We're so emotional that it's emotional overload to process, and too many energetic shifts going on at one time. So it will lift awareness away from the body as a protective tool. Understand this is not a failure. This is self-preservation. This is your body protecting you. All right. So think of it as the note that I made was, let me think about it for a minute because I want, okay. So it's about, I'm going to use the word numb for lack of a better word, maybe reduction. It's like reducing, we're trying to control what we sense and feel because we're not feeling safe until we've fully integrated and we feel like it's safe to land again in our bodies. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Because that's the best way I can explain it. That's what happens when you have Pisces or Mercury in Pisces. It's like because Pisces, it's up here. We see it, we feel it, but we can't always put words to it. And then I had a concussion last year, and then all this crazy energy. So my memory is just floating somewhere in the universe. I need a cowboy to come lasso my brains and put them back in my head. So we have fire and air. So that's head. Okay, so when I say fire and air, because we have things ready to move into Aries. Aries rules the head. So think about the head. Okay, and air is communication. Uranus, forward thinking. Okay, so think the future. So we're heading towards the future, but we don't want to leap too fast because we're integrating. All right. So, like I said earlier, for over a decade, we've lived in the energy of earth and water. So that could be grounded, but, heavy sometimes and emotionally deep. And, it can be slow and dense sometimes. Um, but it can also be quick and free flowing. So that all depends on your personal charts. And now we're shifting into that fire and air, so it's faster, it's much more mental. Um, and when I think about the Pluto and Aquarius, much more, it's visionary and more future oriented. And so Uranus is also like consciousness. Pluto and Aquarius, like consciousness, is coming up to the surface, but our bodies are still kind of behind a little bit. So this in between, it's the gap, the in between where we are that we're feeling. So I'm going to go a little bit more here, and then I'm going to stop. And um, if you want the PDF, go to the bloominglotuslife.com and go to the store and go under digital downloads, and it will be under there, and it is called Spiritual Narcolepsy. All right. So why this feels unsettling, especially for women, because women have, and I don't mean anything offensive towards men. It's just that I feel like women are more in tune with their bodies, especially because of their menstrual cycles and their hormones, because their bodies align with the moon, and the moon is our deepest emotions. Okay, so women often have these stronger body intuition nudges or um, bridges that fill the gaps. I guess I'm not sure how to word that. So when embodiment loosens, they notice it immediately. Something feels off. I don't feel grounded like I used to. I'm here, but I'm not fully here, or I'm not fully in my body. Uh, you feel airy fairy in your brain, and the body's just saying, I need safety before I fully re-enter. And then we have the social climate with all of that pressure. If you really like into that, that's really disruptive to the nervous system. Just that alone. Just that alone. Not on top of everything else that's happening. So it's like I don't mean it to be funny, but it's just one of those things. Like if it weren't so real, it would be such such a funny, like it would be the best. How did I word it last night? I was talking to somebody. I said, if this wasn't so real, it would be the best effing satire, movie that I've ever seen in my life. So, and I'm 62, soon to be 63 years old, and I've never felt like like this. Um, but the body just wants to feel safe, and with this overstimulated nervous system and these lightning strike moments, and all of this not not knowing, not having control. So if you're somebody who's used to having control, and you're someone who doesn't have patience, you're struggling. I don't care who you are, what you're saying. I don't care what words are coming out of your mouth. You're struggling somewhere, and or you're in denial about it. Um, and that's not a judgment. That's an observation. Because I kept trying to push through, and I finally just said, "All right, God doesn't want me to do this right now. The universe doesn't want this for me right now." So, but you're really not leaving your body. You're just being more gentle with your body. Embodiment is returning slow and soft, and you're much more conscious and aware. Um, don't force, don't try to analyze, and don't try to push, you know? And like I said earlier, treat yourself, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I don't care. Actually, I don't care what hemisphere you're in. I think that a nice cup of tea is really nice and a nice salt bath. And I'm not getting a lot of sun this winter, but you know, the sunlight, things that make you feel warm and grounded and good and connected to the planet. Slow movement, walking, stretching. Um, try to get some kind of a rhythm to a pattern to your sleep. I know it's difficult. It's really difficult. Mine seems to be up all night, sleep during the day. Um, to help you rest, try weighted weighted blankets. I don't know if you've ever any of you tried those weighted blankets or a heated blanket. Unless you're diabetic, that's not good for diabetics. Um, I'm talking about the heated blanket, not the weighted blanket. Um, hug a pillow. I'm going to be 63 years old. I have a teddy bear that was my mom's, but when she passed, I couldn't part with it, and it sits on the windowsill in my bedroom. And every once in a while, I just grab it and wrap my arms around it, or my dog, or connect with your animals because they want to feel safe too. And if you're not feeling safe, they're playing off of your energy, and they'll help soothe your, is that music soothes the savage beast. Um, but so do animals. So um, don't try to over woo woo the experience. It is what it is. Um, don't be worried about losing yourself. You haven't lost yourself. You're in the process of finding yourself. Um, try not to overwork. You know, sometimes being productive is intuitive. And this is one of those times. Feel your emotions. Don't bypass your emotions. It's not a time to, do spiritual bypassing. And like I said, you know, it's the screen time because the blue light, unless you have, like my glasses have that blue light, but even with those, try to cut back on the screen time. Um, what I've done is I've actually purchased a couple of audiobooks. So rather than looking at the screen all day, I'm listening rather than like if you notice, I keep looking away from the screen because the light is actually hurting my eyes because I have a sinus headache. But try listening rather than because I mean you don't have to watch two people speak. Like if you're listening to like a podcast or something, you can walk around with headphones and fold your laundry if you're not too tired. Try to limit that because especially like about 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed because that actually activates and stimulates the brain. So if you're already having trouble sleeping at night, that's not going to help. So for a lot of people, this is the first time um, that they've been feeling this way in their bodies. So the old way is like we used we would override our feelings or we'd push through fatigue or we would numb discomfort. We were in this survival first kind of mood or energy, right? Because that's human instinct. We go right to survival. Um, but that doesn't work anymore. So the body's temporarily saying, if you don't slow down willingly, I'm gonna slow you down. I'm gonna make you so exhausted you can't do anything. So what comes next is we're gonna learn to rest without feeling guilty. You need to reduce stimulation. And this isn't forever. This is just while this is going on. And it's I feel like I feel like this is going to go on that February 20th when we hit that 0 point of Aries. That's the reset. So I'm going to say sometime around that time. And it could be a little bit earlier for some people, a little bit later for somebody else. Don't feel like you're behind at any time because it's all going to depend on your chart. And, you know, there's fate and there's destiny and then there's free will. So we have all that involved. So it all depends on your choices. But once we embody this energy, we will come back stronger than we ever were before. We won't feel numb. We won't feel like we're out of our bodies. We'll be deeply present, and you haven't lost yourself. You're just rebirthing a new version of you. And now I'm repeating myself. So this is it. I'm going to give you one more and then I'm going to end this. So I think what a lot of people need to hear is you're not disappearing, you're not broken, you're not crazy, you're not too sensitive. Um, you're in the in between, and the body is much wiser and intelligent than we are, and it was built to protect us, and it's guiding us now at a pace that is healthy for us in this energy, which is slow, safe, and real. And when you land again, you won't be the same version of yourself and you won't be living the way you did before. Um, because we're not experiencing just burnout. And it's also, I want to say, not a spiritual awakening in that Kundalini over sensationalized kind of sense. This is a biological, physic, physical, and energetic recalibration that's all happening at the same time. What's the word? Um, Simultaneously. Okay. So I'm going to end with that, and I hope that helped you all. And if you're catching me at the end of this video, good morning, Lisa Bell. I love you, sweetie. Um, go back to the beginning of the video, and I gave you all of the void moons for the month of January because there are so many, and in the void moon is when we're supposed to rest, and that is contributing to all of our tiredness. And then we have that new moon on, when did I say it was? I'm losing my marbles. Did I say the 18th? No, 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 no. Anyway, it's on here. Aftermoon, where was that new moon? Do you see what I mean, people? Like, seriously, do you see what I mean? All right, one second. Yeah, it's the 18th. Okay. Um, no. Oh, I guess it helps when you're on the right month. I'm looking at February, my day timer. I'm like, there we go, the 18th. I knew. I'm like, am I losing my mind? See, this is the kind of stuff, people. Um, all right, the new moon is on the 18th. Remember what I said. It's at 2:52. Wait a second. It's the sun. Okay. I'm sorry. I was wrong about that time. Um, it is at 5:18 p.m. All right. And half an hour before and half an hour after because this is a moon um, Kazemi. So the sun and the moon um, are next to each other. So when we have the moon sitting in the eye of the sun, the heart of the sun, um, remember the sun is our identity. It's who we are and the way we shine. So the moon and the sun together, we have two powerful luminaries. One rules our identity, and the other rules our emotions, and our emotional well-being. So there is an opportunity. So if you have something important that you want to start or something important to do, I would say right around that time would be the time to do it. And then the moon will, obviously it's a void moon because it's a new moon and the new moon is always a dark moon. So that's it. I think I have fried my own brain. I actually put in um, a grocery order and I had to order from two different places to get everything that I needed. And then I had to come in here and write a list of everything that I forgot to order. So it's already been a crazy day, but I'm tired and I have some allergy stuff going on. So I might put in my order and have it delivered tomorrow and just take a little nap. But I wanted to update you on some of that stuff. So I'll go and I'll put a link under this video. If you want the PDF, fine. If not, fine. I think I gave you like the most important things. I mean, it does go a lot deeper. Goes into some personal things that I really wouldn't want to talk about on here because I'm not sure if Facebook would flag me if I say the word sex. But if that part of your life is being affected, that's normal because we're just too damn tired. We're too tired, and we're connecting on a deeper, more spiritual level anyway. Um, it's always we think about the spiritual connection or and the physical attraction, but deep down inside, it doesn't matter how physically attracted you are to somebody if they just turn out to be a real disrespectful, narcissistic asshole. So, um, cheers to those of us who have let that out of our lives. But don't be afraid to let go. Know that everything's going to be okay. And right now, rest is non-negotiable. It really, it's really non-negotiable. Your body's gonna, your body's just gonna take over, and it's gonna give you exactly what you need because that's what it was designed to do. It's not to punish you; it's to protect you. And nothing that is happening is here to punish you. It's here to protect you and to help you set healthy boundaries. That person that triggers you, goodbye. It doesn't matter if it's family or not. If that person is constantly putting you down and making you feel like shit, you don't need that. You don't need that. And it's more about them than it is about you because the only reason they need to make you feel small is because they don't feel good about themselves. So don't dim your light for them. Let their light meet yours. We're, we're no longer required to dim our light with what energy we have left. We need all of the light that we have. And it's okay to share your light, but don't let somebody drain you. All right. Namaste. God bless. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. Try not to work too hard. Understand that your brain might not be all there, but it's all there. It just feels like it's not all there. And don't beat yourself up for the little mistakes. I mean, who else could spend 700, almost $800 and forget 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things? And after that, well, that's it. Because I'm glad the price of eggs have come down because nothing else. Oh, and gas. Gas is okay. Um, I don't really see a lot of the price drops that our country's talking about, and my bank account isn't either. But that's it for the month. So God bless. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Take care of yourself and remember that you just need to be you. And it would be nice if I could find myself so that I can end this video, which I can't. I might have to do it here on my phone. Oh, here, let me see. Okay. Nope, that's not working either. I lost something. I lost my thing. Here it is. I had so many tabs open, I couldn't find the tab to end the video. Oh, well, I'll just add it to one of my, um, spiritual experiences. Just have a beautiful day.